That man, that is my trick of the trade. Whether it's, for work something or, if you just want to make friends at the hotel bar, Uber McDonald's at midnight, 1 a.m., you are going to make so many friends. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Gun Rack, SDI's podcast about everything firearms. I'm here with the boys. We got Steve, Owen, Talon, and Rick. Steve's director of marketing. Owen and Talon, you've seen before, grads. And then Rick is our associate dean on the firearms side. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Yep. Pretty darn good.
All right. Well, we're talking SHOT Show. We've got it in about a month. Who knows when I'm going to edit this thing and put it out? So it could be next week. But what's everybody excited about SHOT Show wise?
I think it's just fun to just be part of the industry, go visit the people that you've already made contacts with, gaining new contacts. I always just love just rubbing shoulders with everybody in the industry.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's right.
That's how you get sick at SHOT Show, Rick. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was something else. Rubbing shoulders. That's Jeremy.
Steve, actually, first, tell us, explain to the listeners and viewers who don't know, what is SHOT Show?
All right. Well, SHOT Show, some people say it's like Comic-Con for guns. Kind of close. It's a way for a lot of the manufacturers and industry folks from all different parts of the industry to show off new products, new offerings for the year. You'll have a lot of vendors there. You'll have a lot of dealers there, people buying guns, looking for things for maybe their departments if they're in law enforcement or military purchasing. But really, it's just a big old get together for the firearms industry and outdoor industry that is not really open to the general public. You have to have a reason to be there. It happens every year in Las Vegas. It's probably the largest firearms and outdoor show in the world.
Talon, you guys have been there. It was just last year was your first and only SHOT Show. Is that correct?
Yep.
What were some of your impressions as first time SHOT Show goers?
Well, how big it was. I mean, I've seen so many videos of people covering SHOT Show and they're just kind of cruising, stopping here and there and stuff like that. But once me and Talon got in there and we spent forever getting lost and we realized we were just in the first building, we're like, dude, this thing is huge.
Yeah. After spending the whole week there, I think we both agreed we saw maybe 60% of it, but actually was able to really like hone in on maybe 20% of it. So
that's been generous too.
Yeah. It's just like he said, you think it's huge and then you realize you're just in the entryway.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Last year, you did a prepping for SHOT Show video on your channel, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Maybe we'll put that link in the description, but
Sure.
How did that, like, from your prep to reality, like, how did that compare?
Most of my prep advice was taken from other people that had gone before me. I think I undersold or, did not understand how important some of those things were, like good shoes. Those were
good shoes.
Good shoes. By the end of the week, don't wear your fine dress shoes. Tennis shoes are critical, So,
how many miles a day do you guys think you walked at SHOT Show?
I think if I remember correctly, my watch said it was 11. It was 11 per day, every day for the whole week. And we spent a lot of time standing at the booth. So if you're not standing at a booth, if you're literally walking it might be more than that.
Yeah. Talon had some crazy statistic last year about if you were to try to hit every booth, it was like a couple minutes at each one just to see every booth or something like that, or even a couple seconds. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was like 33 seconds at each booth. If you took no breaks, no bathroom breaks, no lunch breaks, and you were there from open to close the whole week, if you wanted to see every booth you had, and that includes travel between booths. So really more like 20 seconds with 10 seconds to get to the next booth.
Yeah.
You just have to understand you're not going to see it all.
What if you're on a scooter?
Yeah, maybe if you're on the scooter.
I don't think the walking part is because the booths are pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
But
10 seconds is exaggerating a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
How long it takes.
Yeah. Well, so what are each of us have our different goals at SHOT Show? Let's go around. What are some of our goals? Rick.
My goal is to just have better relationships in the industry. I mean, talk to industry partners, talk to other leading schools, gunsmithing schools, things like that. That's the goal for this SHOT Show.
And what does that do?
It just makes you more credible. You're able to you're seen as a bigger deal in the industry. Does that make sense? For lack of putting it a better way, I mean, you make a presence in the industry. If you don't show up and if you're not talking to people, then you're gonna stay a small fish, you know. But if you're talking to people and you're building those relationships and networking, it's a big deal. That's how you make things good happen.
Yeah.
I get that because like a lot of the connections you make at SHOT Show can be all the things you're planning for the rest of the year. Like you can kickstart off at SHOT Show, or you can take the plans you have at the end of the year and bring them together at SHOT Show if you meet up with the right people and find the right people to carry those plans out. Or if you're going there to buy something that could set up your buying and purchasing for the next year. And I also Rick, agree with you. Like once you go to SHOT Show, you also start to notice like who's not at SHOT Show anymore. Like, oh, they were here last year, or they moved, their booth changed, or this person's not there, or that whole company's not here. You do kind of pick up on those things, and it leads to some
companies too. Yeah, like big companies that you're not expecting. You're thinking these big companies are going to stay around for a while, but I mean, one year they have an enormous booth, and then the next year they're just not even there. It's crazy.
What do you think that is?
You're trying to start some SHOT Show drama already.
Well, I think it has to do also with that presence. Part of it has to do with that presence, like the bigger booth. You know, it's measuring things. You know, of like the bigger booth you have, the bigger deal you are, and so people sometimes can extend themselves financially, and they say, well, we need to go out with a big bang and we need to show that we're a big deal in the industry, but their product doesn't catch or whatever, and then they fizzle out, or they struggle financially. They struggle getting those contracts that they were hoping for or whatever. So you really got to know your audience. You need to really do your research before you get into that.
So it's not the size of the booth, it's how you use it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I know you're joking, but you're not wrong. Like just being at SHOT Show doesn't guarantee you success at SHOT Show either.
Oh yeah.
You could go there and attend and not have a booth and walk around and get a lot done in that week. Meet a whole lot of folks, make those connections, or you could have a booth at SHOT Show. That booth takes planning. If you aren't prepared for SHOT Show, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Every year I see booths at SHOT Show, and they don't even have a backdrop. There still has the sign hanging up with their booth name on it that was left there when they, by the booth organizers. And it's just a table and there's no signs, no displays. Like, why come all this way and not be prepared to show off while you're here, to tell your story, show off your product? And they come back every year.
I think we talked about this last year after SHOT Show. Was there's people that will just sit there on their phone behind their table, and not engaging with anybody, and you have zero desire to look at their product. When you walk up, you're like, well, if they're not excited about their product, why should I be excited about their product?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a strong feeling a lot of those are just the owner sent the salesperson, the top salesperson. The salesperson doesn't really care, like you said, Talon, care about the product enough to actually advance it. So I think if you're making that investment, the big companies, medium companies, they have their engineers there, they have their marketing team there, they have their CEO there, their presidents. If you're making that investment, the head honchos need to be at SHOT Show. Yeah. It's not the small guys, it's the big guys.
Yeah.
Other than having the head honchos there, what do you see equates to having a successful booth at the show?
I think like Steve said, your graphics are what sells your product. Like, because what Talon and Owen were saying earlier, is you're not going to have time to stop at every single one. So you have to have those eye catchers when you're walking through those and you're looking from side to side, just kind of looking around. Yeah, that's that company. I need to talk to them. Or,
Yeah.
hey, they have a really cool product. I want to look at it. But if it doesn't catch your eye, then you're just going to get skipped right over because they're not going to read the little small print to see what you are.
But you also have to have, going with that, you have to have a booth with people that are approachable, you know?
Yep.
We've ran into so many booths where the people are not approachable. They have got a great booth, but then me and Talon will go around and see a small booth and we meet some of the coolest guys and we'll have an hour-long conversation. You know?
Yeah. Stealth Arms.
I love it when you
stands
like just
out.
like. Sorry, Talon, go ahead.
I was going to say Stealth Arms stands out as a booth that they had such an engaging crowd of presenters, and they
Yeah.
weren't upstairs with like, Glock and everybody else. They were downstairs, even though they have a great firearms industry, but their engagement with the crowd as they were walking around. I know a lot of people that maybe hadn't heard of Platypus or Stealth Arms, and they were all about, engaging with them. They had great swag. They had great
Yeah.
people engaging it. They had a good display. I mean, they were just, in
They had a
general, that was
mascot.
a really good booth. Yeah, they had a guy walking around in a
Yeah.
platypus costume. So
They had a mascot, they had a claw machine, they had everything.
Last year they had a line down the aisleway for people waiting
Yeah.
to get into the booth.
Yeah, and you didn't see that at a lot of other booths, so that means something.
I think, well, there's a couple things there. I think that people know that as the basement, the one down below.
Yeah.
But so it's not a bad thing to be a small company with a small booth down in the basement, because a lot of the industry knows that's where the innovators are. That's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you're going to see the new cutting edge technology. Once you get into those bigger companies like Smith & Wesson and Glock, they're not innovating necessarily. They're doing their tried and true. They'll buy some innovations from the smaller guys if they want to innovate, but they're not innovating in their own companies. They're too big to do that. And so that's the hard thing when you get big. So starting out in the basement, we started out in the basement, and I think starting out down there it's good because you're recognized as, hey, I want to go check out all those small booths because that's where I'm going to find something cool.
Yeah.
And then it's also really fun going year after year to SHOT Show and seeing these companies that did start out in the basement and then they start getting bigger booths and it more, that they're being successful. And especially in this time right now in the industry, when we have Trump you have the Trump slump. If people are still growing, that they're doing really well.
Yeah.
Well, let's focus on the attendees a little bit. For those who are getting their attention caught. Do you think most people so I just looked it up. There's over 50,000 people within those few days walking around, looking at the stuff, talking to people, setting meetings. For the people who are just attending and not tabling, what do you think they're after? What are do they just want to look at cool stuff? Are they trying to make deals? Who are the people that are attending?
I think Rick said it best in the beginning, where going to these events. So SHOT Show was my first event like this last year, but then I also did the NRA show and I did the GOA show. And when you go to those multiple shows, you start seeing people repeatedly. And like he said, it starts to build your name up as somebody that is worth more than just a mom and pop shop in Mobile, Alabama or whatever. They start seeing you and you really build those relationships, which I think is probably the number one thing you're going to see at SHOT Show is the development and building of relationships to create
100%.
those deals. Now, maybe you are just a small mom and pop shop in Mobile, Alabama, but you're trying to bring in new vendors to your business. This is a great way to find those vendors, to maybe find that a big ticket item that you're going to put in the window of your shop to draw people in, figure out which trigger you're going to carry, which, long range rifles that you're going to carry or whatever. This is a great place to kind of window shop everything and the nice thing, there's not any pressure to buy anything at SHOT Show since there's nothing for sale at SHOT Show. It's more about, this is what I carry, this is my product, and you're going, I could see that in my market where I'm at in Montana, we have a lot of long range shooting and hunting, that may be the case. So I think it's about the relationships and it's about the deals. So going around and finding all of those things that maybe you've never heard of. I know Owen and I repeatedly throughout last year or this year. I guess we're still in 2025 at the time of this recording, but you know, seeing things that we didn't even know existed, and that's what you're going to see at these types of shows.
Well, to your point too, Christian, we had a graduate that was, with his own company. He didn't have the marketing budget to have a booth. He didn't really have anything to exhibit. His whole purpose of being there was to make connections with this product idea that he had, and he was really successful with it and stuff. So there's a lot of individuals, like Rick was saying, like innovative people that are actually just there to meet with specific people, specific companies, and things like that. So it's not necessarily large entities that are going to be just roaming the floor and seeing what's there. There's going to be a lot of individuals as well.
I mean, I agree with all that. And I think the ultimate benefit is you have someone to listen to you at SHOT Show. They're almost the people that are in those booths. One, they probably want to talk to you. They want to. They're there for a reason to share their product. But on the other hand, they're also paid to be there. They have to sit in that
Yeah.
booth and talk to you. So if you have a hard time getting someone on the phone or a contact somewhere, okay, just being there allows you that opportunity to either ask your questions or find the right person that you couldn't maybe reach in other methods.
Get them
Oh yeah,
strapped.
face to face is always so much better. I know Jeff in our fulfillment side. I mean, he can be having these phone conversations or email exchanges with certain suppliers or vendors, but getting face to face and saying, "Hey, why are you dropping the ball on this shipment? Why haven't you shipped our products?" And then getting that, and then the next month it shows up, or that it's just a lot. It's the time to really get with somebody and have that face to face interaction, which has a major strength to it.
Sure.
All right. Well, I know I asked right at the beginning, what's everybody looking, forward to seeing and doing at SHOT Show, and then I kind of cut that off in going into the background. Let's keep going with that. What's everybody looking forward to seeing and doing?
I'm looking forward to seeing the new set of graduates that are going to be coming through and seeing who's going to be there this year and some of the graduates from last year. But like Rick said, I think one of the biggest things is getting to see people that were there last year or at other shows and kind of just nurturing those relationships a little bit more. I think that's one of the best parts.
What's been your experience with seeing grads at the show? Because now you've done quite a few shows with us. One of the reasons you're here, you were the DEAC Graduate of the Year. So you're special.
Feel
But,
special.
seeing other grads at these shows, I mean, how does that make you feel? What do you guys do? What do you guys talk about?
You know, seeing graduates and meeting them and then getting to know them, and then that's one thing, but also getting to meet graduates that are in the industry. A great example is the Boatners he works with HK, and I keep in contact with them. We had a great dinner and stuff, but it's just cool to be able to talk to people that are within the industry, but they're also graduates. And I mean, there are so many of them that I can't even name them all, but I think keeping up with them throughout the year and then getting ready for the next shows and, talking about like, dinner plans and then meeting at the booths and just things like that is one of the best things because it's kind of like you have somebody that you already know when you're going to a show. So it's like you already know you're going to hit this booth, and this booth because of some of the connections you've made. So
Well, I think what's neat too is the surprise graduates that you don't realize. Like, you'll be talking to somebody in the industry, and they'll look down at your name badge and see you're from SDI, and then go, "Oh, so and so Mike back here, our head developer, whatever. He graduated from SDI," and it just surprisingly seeing those people as you're walking through. The cool thing about SHOT Show is, like Steve said, everybody's in the industry. So if you meet anybody from SDI, you're meeting a success story from SDI, and that's just cool. We saw more graduates at SHOT Show than we did at NRA or GOA, and those are both kind of open to the public. So it's neat to be able to meet those people, hear where they're successful at, whether it's starting their own business or whether they're working for one of the big dogs. It's just really neat to see that success. And I don't know,
validating
it's a
too.
counterpoint to some of the criticism that we hear, so.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, it's neat seeing because SDI is relatively young in the way of gunsmithing schools, And it's cool to see our graduates starting to get that foothold, that strong foothold in the industry, and be these leading people in the industry, whether they're working for a company or for a bigger company or doing their own thing. It's cool to see them starting to get that foothold.
Yeah. The surprise grad, that's a good point, Town, because I mean, we were at the range day and the guy that was standing right next to us was a grad and we didn't even know it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, on my side, as the event coordinator, it takes a lot. This is a huge show, like you guys said. It's multiple floors. It's 2 separate convention centers. You know, it's in the Venetian, used to be the Sands Convention Center, and then it's also in Caesar's Forum. We're in Caesar's Forum this year, and then we were there last year, and then we're in the Venetian the years before. But just Owen and I just remember hauling some of the stuff because I typically drive from Phoenix to Vegas, so I'm the FedEx guy, you know, and so whatever help I can get hauling these, 60, 80 pound roller bags full of stuff or roller trunks, I get my steps in and I'm, sweating up a storm. But other than that, how much effort do you think it takes just to get through the week? Let's talk about that.
Physically, like physical effort?
Physically, mentally, emotionally, how many tears did you cry? All that kind of stuff.
It can be draining for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely draining. I know last year Steve got sick, which, from my understanding is pretty typical of SHOT Show. By the end, I'd caught whatever Steve had.
Weak blood.
Rubbing shoulders.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what
rubbing
gets ya.
shoulders and shaking hands. And you should definitely, starting like right now, you should start taking your vitamin C, whatever you got to do to boost your immune system, because you are bringing, the immunities from every part of the country and then cramming them into 2 convention centers. So there is a lot going on that by the end of the week, if you're not boosted, you'll probably get it. So physically, you got to be careful there.
I still showed up to the
That's
booth
true.
every
You
day.
did. You did.
Every day.
And you
say that
felt
about
great
some
by the end
people.
of the week when the rest of us were dying. So
I was a super spreader, but I was there spreading.
Misery
They're
loves
spreading.
company, right?
He ain't
The,
got immunities.
Yeah, the physically on your feet, like I said, it's super important to wear the comfortable shoes. There is a lot of miles you're going to put on your body, and there's not a lot of places to sit down. There's very few benches or chairs or couches or anything like that throughout the entire forum. So if you're one of those people that can only do so much time on your feet, I don't know if this is really the greatest place for you to go, because just getting, like you were saying, Christian, just getting from the hotel to the actual event itself is probably a quarter mile, and then it only
And they're
goes on
connected.
from there.
Yeah. Well, and we had you guys, doing interviews and talking to folks, but, when you're at the booth, just how many people do you think you talk to day in, day out for those 3-4 days? I don't even know.
Oh, I mean, in and out of the booth, walking around, people coming to the booth. It's hundreds of people a day, if not more.
Yeah.
You can easily,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do thousands, you could try and do 1,000 people a day. But you have a lot of visitors at your booth.
Yeah.
I was going to add on to what Tal was saying, and Christian, what you brought up for first time people going to SHOT Show. Man, whether you're showing up representing your own business, your own things going on, whether it's a shop or a YouTube channel or your department type of thing, or you're there working a booth. If you are a first timer at SHOT Show, remember people are always watching you, and to be professional, you're either representing yourself or you're representing the business you're there working with. And what I mean by that is SHOT Show doesn't start and stop at the floor hours. SHOT Show also continues after hours. Just because you're going out to dinner or to the bar afterwards having drinks, you are still representing the company and yourself out and about. And I know it's hard. You're in Las Vegas. There's a lot of enticement to debauchery.
Sin.
Right?
That's what it is,
Yeah,
Steve.
there's a lot of sin in Las Vegas.
But if
there's
you don't
a
sin,
lot of people that go to SHOT Show for
Christian
the
looks
first time. Day one, they show up on time to the booth. That day 2 morning, they're dragging.
That's the real test.
Because they had a rough night before out drinking. So just be careful, be professional. I don't know if any of our first timers they didn't run into that though.
That goes not only, that's on both sides, Steve. It's really important. Like not only outside your company, people looking in to your company, but also those looking from inside your company. So your CEO, your president, if he's seeing that you're being unprofessional at these shows, you might find your way out of the company pretty quick.
Not to say like don't go out and socialize. Like this is the event to go network and socialize, but
I'd say as many deals happen after hours as probably happen during the day.
Probably more, really.
Yeah. So I'll be the counterpoint to that. You know, we are in Vegas, and you know, I know we're a school, but yeah, have fun. Just, you know, do what you got to do. You know,
Don't have too many
do
Long
anything too
Islands.
crazy.
Hey, if you don't have appointments and be at your booth at 8 a.m. the next morning, get blackout drunk. Go for it. If you're 21 and you're in Vegas, go.
That's gonna make a great clip.
Yeah.
He says, get blackout drunk.
But if you have those responsibilities, know your limits.
Show up, be an adult.
Yeah.
Have adult fun, but be an adult and work as an adult. Be at that booth, you know, 30 minutes early, help set up, do what you got to do, and then just network and have fun and make new friends. That's my biggest thing. Is just like my first SHOT Show, I was an admissions rep. I was just there. I was like, hey, I'm going to do well. I'm going to have fun at the booth, talk to people about SDI. But I was like, I want to have fun. I want to meet people in this industry because I was, you know, fairly new within the firearms industry. And I met a ton of people. But I wouldn't have done that if I didn't get blackout drunk and, you know, go party with everybody else. No, I didn't get
Circle bar.
How
It
is
takes a
that,
bit
Christian,
to
would you say? Because you've done really good at building those relationships with other companies that go. How would you say those relationships have morphed over time?
I mean, it kind of, you know, you only get one chance to set a first impression, you know, and if they see that you're just a normal guy that, you know, you can relate to, hang out with, be friends with, but still, like I said, show up in the morning and do your job and take your job seriously, you know, that helps year after year. Like you said, you see the same people that, you know, you can trust. You know that this person is going to be dependable or going to be able to work with you if something happens or if they need something or if you need something. You're like, sure, I got you, man. Don't even worry about it. Where if you were just going up to whatever representative at random company that you've never talked before, they're going to be a little bit hesitant because they don't know you like that person has gotten to know you.
Yep.
So if that makes sense.
That's huge. I mean, I got my start in the industry because of after hours events. So that's true.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, you and me Ubered McDonald's.
That, man, that is my trick of the trade. Whether it's, you know, for work something or, you know, if you just want to make friends at the hotel bar, Uber McDonald's at midnight, 1 a.m., you are going to make so many friends.
Yeah.
Crumble, or I guess it wasn't Crumble. What was it? It's Insomnia cookies. Oh, who doesn't want cookies at 1 a.m. in the morning?
So what do you do?
I don't think you were at this party, but we had a grad party a few years ago and we co-hosted it with a partner of ours. And it was in a bar that was like part bowling alley. And there was a bunch of like YouTubers. There were some celebrities there. I think like Chuck Liddell and his, you know, like other UCF or UFC guys were there. And for whatever reason, like the kitchen was just way behind and the food was not coming out for everybody. Bar was open though. So like for a good hour, 2 hours, people were just pounding free drinks. And I think Christian and I realized, man, like if we don't do something, we're gonna have a problem here. So Christian's like, I got it. Don't worry.
Man of action.
So he goes out, is gone for like 15 minutes, comes back. It was like the hero moment. He comes in with like 2 giant bags of Crystal hamburgers.
Hell yeah.
White Castle. They're
White Castle. Okay.
Crave crates. So
The Crave crates.
yeah,
he had like
crazy.
300 hamburgers, okay, and he just got swarmed. But everyone was a little bit better after that.
Yeah.
And
Not all
that
heroes wear capes.
solidified my presence in the industry. I am now the
That was your
hamburger
defining
guy.
moment?
I'm the hamburglar.
Hamburger.
Yeah. SDI's own hamburglar. So, well, let's talk about that. I mean, we're on after hour stuff. what are some cool after hours things that you can do to network and go out? What are some of the hot spots? Rick, you're so popular. Where do you go? Where do you go after?
I am not an after hours guy.
Rick is in bed after dinner or grading papers and then going to sleep.
I like going out and just, however long the dinner will go and then just staying and talking. I mean, sometimes I can stretch until 11 o'clock at night. So that's what I like to do.
Shot show Rick.
The whole midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. thing, no, that's not me.
Yeah. SHOT Show itself has, like, if you're, let's say you've never gone before, or you're going by yourself with your own small business or whatever, SHOT Show itself, when you get your registration, has their own after hours parties that you can sign up for. They cost a certain amount of money to attend, but a lot of people do attend those, and some of the big players attend those as well. But those are by invite only. But you can pay for your invite with your registration. So even if the individual industries like Owen brought up like H&K. H&K may have a party that they're doing with their company, and they'll invite friends of theirs to come to it. Brownells may do that, or other companies may do that, where they're bringing in their own party with maybe people they're trying to kind of wine and dine to carry their product or whatever. Like, for example, SDI has our grad dinner that we do. That's one where you'll see a lot of people, but similar events like that are happening all over Vegas. So you can try and get invited to one of those, or you can purchase your own ticket to the SHOT Show specific after hours party. So just because the show's over at the end of the day does not mean, like Steve said, that your event or your networking is ended. Then you can continue on, whether that's through a purchase ticket or an invite to another company.
Yeah. And just to add,
really begins.
Every night after the exhibit hall closes, there is, in that open area, going to be a reception every night. I think it's like an hour-long, 2-hour-long reception for folks who don't get invited to those parties, or but it's still a great place to network and mingle, and it's just right outside the door. So
the casino, the main casino downstairs too, at either the Venetian, the Link, the Hera, that are all kind of connected right there. A lot of those big companies will be hanging out just at the bars right there at the casinos too. And a lot of people don't take their badges off, so you can see where people are at and who they're with pretty much the whole time you're in Vegas. There's several concurrent shows happening at the same time as SHOT Show. So you might see people from Concrete is the one I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Steve, what's the name of the bar? What's the bar that everybody gathers at?
I don't know. I don't ever go to it. Is it Circle Bar?
It's Circle Bar.
Circle Bar.
Yeah, Circle Bar.
So hypothetical for you. You show up to Circle Bar. It's packed. There's everyone there. They got the SHOT Show there. It's that crowd. You see someone you don't know. What's everyone's like opening line to start the socializing for the night?
I know what Talon's is.
I lean behind Christian because he knows everybody, so I just follow Christian around.
Hey, I heard you're gonna buy me a Long Island.
That's 4 Long Islands in, Talon. That's his opening line.
Yes, I am tradesman Firearms. Calm down.
That being said, so Christian, the main thing that I'm gonna try and do this year, besides just mingle with the SDI grads, like Owen said, is try to continue to build more content for my channel. With other companies that can help out people in the firearms industry. I did like 25 last year. I'd like to get something similar to that this year. And there's the connections. Everybody said this so far, but the connections that I made over the last year, hooking back up with those people this year. And just getting to go see some of those industry partners now that I have. But in addition to that, just friends, people that we have, Urban Carry comes to mind. We've made a lot of friends at Urban Carry or Otter Text. Looking forward to seeing those guys.
And these are relationships you have to continue to build. You have to cultivate, because, I mean, the gun world it's a small world. I mean, it seems big when you go to SHOT Show, but you have to remember that's worldwide. That's like people coming in from other countries. And so it is really a small group of people in the grand scheme of things. And there's a lot of times where this person was over at HK before, and now he's at SIG this year. And then the next year he'll be at Glock. So keeping tabs of where they are and who they're with now and what they're doing in the industry is really important.
Yeah.
You guys feel like
I'm really
SHOT
excited. One thing
Show-
we didn't mention too, Christian, last year during all of our grad interviews, one of the things that kept coming up was wishing that SDI had more machining involved. And I'm really excited this year because we're going to have that to announce to people as they come around, like, hey, in 1 year, look what's changed. These are things that you asked for last year that we're now coming out with in 2026. And so that's going to be really excited. I'm
it
excited
was-
to see people's reactions.
for compliance reasons, we're not allowed to talk about programs before they were released. And we knew last year what was coming. It was so hard for us to say, like, don't wait, like wait, it's coming. You know, we can
All I
talk
would-
about it in January or
I'd say stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's all I.
And then he just
say
winked like
stay tuned.
7 times. With,
Yeah.
all right.
That
What
will be
are, what are-
exciting this year. We do have a lot to talk about for what's new in the programs for those students starting in January of 2026. The big one being the machining course with the lathe course coming out, the additional firearms that are going to be in the programs, the earlier hands-on work they get to do with our courses in the programs. Rick, I'm sure you and Jared and Bart will have a lot to talk about at SHOT Show for all those program updates.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And our enrollment numbers right now are huge. They're through the roof. So
People are very excited about it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what, we were listening to the industry all this time, and these program updates reflect that.
So let's talk about that. You know, when people come to the booth and suggest things or say, I wish, this was happening, just tell people how much effort it takes to make even just, something like one new class happen, Rick. Like, what's that process?
Okay, so in a traditional university or school, usually what they have is there's already ready-made curriculum out there. You just go buy the book, you buy the license to the book, you plop it in, there's your lecture material, right? You might record a few videos around it, or you might not, and then you just write assignments and discussion boards. There's effort, but it's not a huge amount of effort because the big bulk of the work has already been created. SDI doesn't have that luxury. Everything we have to create internally. There's not this repository of just textbooks out there that works for us. Some gun digest books will work, but it doesn't work exactly. So we've got to make things our own. So that's a really time intensive is creating the curriculum, having the right subject matter expert creating that curriculum. So that's a big deal. So then once you create that, the actual lecture material, the assignments, the discussion boards, videos, photos, all that, then you have to submit that to our accrediting agency. And that takes a while to get the ball rolling there to get approved. So everything that SDI does, it takes a while. And it is hard when people come to the booth and, hey, I have this great suggestion. It is great. It's awesome. Like, no question, that's great, but it's not something we can focus on now because we have our hands full with other stuff. So it's hard to hear it because we're like, hey, we've thought about that 5 years ago, but we're still on this ramp to try to get to where we need to go. So that's a challenge.
Yeah. So take it easy on us.
Yeah,
When we're at the booth, stop yelling at me. Just don't, keep asking your questions, but be nice. I'm
No,
saying.
with that being said, there's so much innovation still happening. I mean, last year was the big announcement was the handgun course. That was new from the year previous, which is when Owen and I graduated. So we didn't have that course available to us when we graduated. Then that was new last year, and now this year with the machining courses. So, I mean, as much as Rick's like, hey, it takes time, you're still constantly coming out with new things, and even the update, even if it's not new, the all of the courses have been updated in 2026 as well, which I'm excited about because I got to go through one of the new curriculum, which was the 1911 course, and to hear that the rest of the curriculum has been updated to that level that's really exciting.
Yeah. New look and feel, more videos, so that more interactive element to the actual lecture material. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see students go through it.
Yeah,
and we know
that's
the
one of the
first
biggest
iteration
things.
will have some speed bumps. We know that whenever you launch something new, there's going to be something, but we're going to make those changes, make appropriate changes as we need to.
Yeah. One of the biggest things is people were asking for is more hands-on, more hands-on, more hands-on. What kind of efforts have you guys taken to make the curriculum more hands-on?
Yeah, I mean, that's really it is. So it's difficult in the first couple weeks because we're still waiting on students getting the materials for those first weeks. So the first week of the class, we try to make it more theory-based assignments so that they have time to get the materials from the fulfillment team. If there's any hiccups in that shipping or that delivery, then it gives us some buffer window to get that material out. And there's still good information you learn from theory. Not everything has to be hands-on, but anytime we can make a project or reinforce a learning element through hands-on, we do. So we have a certain amount of materials that we have to go by a budget as well. So we have this budget for this class. So what can we do within that to try to get some sort of hands-on element every week past the first week? So that's really the effort. There's some classes like ballistics that not everything's going to be hands-on because ballistics is theory. It's a science, it's physics, it's understanding the principles of it, but you're not always hands-on with ballistics. So anyway, so it just depends on the class as well.
Okay. Well, let's bring it back to SHOT. So from time of recording, we got about a month. What's everybody bringing to the table? What's everybody gonna be doing? I don't know. I have no clue where
between
I'm going
now
with
and
this.
SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that month leading up to SHOT Show is really your time to start locking in your calendar, schedule your meetings, start looking at who's going to be there, who's not, start making your list of like, here's the priority people I want to meet with, the booths I want to go look at this product, that type of thing. So like start sending those invites, seeing when everyone else is available.
Yep. Yeah, I already on my calendar have several meetings that we're going to attend, but then there's also that stuff in the background where I'm like, hey, I need to talk to so-and-so. I've never met them, but I need to swing by the booth and figure out who I need to talk to. Cause this is not an email thing. This is not a phone call thing. This is a face-to-face thing. Cause you're always taken more seriously when you show up with your logoed shirt, with your tag, your name badge, and you're talking to somebody face to face. It's way, way stronger. So there's those people that I already have planned out of who we're going to go talk to try to build those relationships. Create new ones.
A great way to do that, and I don't know why it's not there yet. I'm kind of surprised. I'm assuming come January it will be, but the app is fantastic for keeping track of what booths you want to go to, because you can use the SHOT Show app and actually, which it has like a map of the whole thing, and you can go to the different vendors you want to go to, and it'll highlight those vendors red on the map. So because it is so big, and again, if you don't have a plan, you're never going to make it there. You cannot just walk around willy-nilly and hope to see everything you want to see. You really have to have a plan. So that's, I would say, like Steve said, start now. I've started messaging people like, hey, are you going to be at SHOT? And you know, the vast majority of them, this is the one event a year that the answer is most likely going to be yes, you know, versus NRA or GOA, where they may or may not make it to that. Everybody tries to make it to SHOT. And so building out that plan of who you're going to talk to, you know, if you can set that meeting ahead of time, because some of the, especially if you're at like Rick's level, some of those people that he's trying to meet with, their schedule fills up really fast, and you've got to try and get in on those on that schedule. If you're just trying to talk with any rep of the company, you'll probably be okay. But if you're trying to meet somebody specific, whether that's the director or the, you know, the owner, the CEO or whatever, you really need to get on their schedule ahead of time. Some of these booths are so big that they built their own meeting rooms into the booths, and those people live in their meeting room from the time SHOT Show starts to the time it ends, because that's their only goal there is hitting those meetings. So,
and Talon, along those same lines, what you said is it's important to remember that some people that are attending SHOT Show don't have a booth. So there's quite a few of well-known big companies. They don't have a booth. They just walk the floor. They send a few people that are representing their company. So even if you don't see them in that SHOT Show exhibitor list, doesn't
Mhm.
mean they're not going. So reaching
Yeah.
out to them, hey, are you going to be there? Can we set up a time? Yeah. And then let's meet for lunch or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
because they're only walking.
And you can't just expect to accidentally bump into those people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like he said, there's 50,000 people, and the location is so big. I have one of those specifically. The guy's name's Eli Urian. He's a Cerakoter. I really want to meet him. He doesn't have a booth, and he's not going there with anybody specific. So trying to coordinate, like, hey, I'd like to meet you for dinner one night or lunch one day, is really the best way to try and coordinate to meet up with those type of people.
Yep.
Well, we're running on time here a little bit, but does anybody have any final thoughts about this SHOT Show, last year's SHOT Show, or last SHOT Show?
I would say if you have the opportunity to attend SHOT Show, you should. Even if it's only once in your life. If you're in this industry, even if you have a small shop, whether you can try and plan for it, it is not a cheap event to attend, whether that even if you're just attending as an attendee, because Vegas is not cheap. Food is not cheap, hotels are not cheap. The event itself isn't too expensive, but just getting in to do all of this stuff takes time and planning. So don't expect at the last minute, like, oh, I'm going to go to SHOT Show. This is something that takes coordination. But I think if you have the opportunity, you should attend it at least once. I think you'll build so many relationships, and even in that one time, that could go on to develop and increase your business and make you more successful in the industry.
Yeah. If you're,
Likewise, we didn't mention it at all. If you're trying to get into this industry, like Owen was last year, this is a great opportunity for you to literally, I mean, what is there, 3,000, something like that, people that are attending here, and the, booths, 3,000 different booths that are out there. So if you are trying to target a specific part of that industry, going there and making those connections so that later you can send them your resume and you can try to get in. This is a really, really good opportunity for that.
well, and hinging off of that too, Talon, this is for our graduates or our students, our current students, bring a portfolio of what you've worked on. If you're trying to get into the industry, you have your company name already, you have your FFL, so you can come to SHOT Show. You're part of the industry. But bring that portfolio, because you can show that to these bigger companies or smaller companies. And there's quite a few of them that would be like, yeah, we're hiring. Like
Yeah.
I've talked to many, like, hey, bring us your graduates. So that is a time for it. And then again, that face-to-face interaction, they'll remember you because you made an impression on them. So it's a good place to be.
Yeah. And I know for me, so I know this episode is about preparing for SHOT Show, what to expect at SHOT Show. But the last thing I'll leave everyone with is follow through after SHOT Show. You're going to go home with a stack full of business cards, and they're not going to be worth anything if you don't start emailing, calling those folks that you met after the show's over, and making sure you are achieving what you wanted to get done at SHOT Show. If you go radio silent, they are too.
Yeah.
I will
Owen,
say,
final
to
thought?
some extent, that happens regardless. Sometimes deals and promises and conversations that happen at SHOT Show, oh, I'll hit you up, I'll email you, I'll do whatever, they do just tend to disappear. So with that being said, make a lot of deals so that a couple of them go through, because there is a lot of people that just seem to ghost you afterwards. The SHOT Show
Wow.
Some
comments
people,
will tell it.
some people in the booth will just put on a smile and a happy face and yeah, no problem. Here's my
Yeah,
card. Email
That's
when we
every
get back.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're talking to Talon. Okay, Owen, final
Yes.
thought.
I'm really excited because this year it's a little bit different for me. I was talking to Talon literally yesterday about how it feels like we're SHOT Show veterans and we've only been to one, but we know what to expect, things like that. But I'm really excited to follow up with people that I've worked all year with, but I've never actually gotten to meet. And so I think that's going to be really cool, getting to meet them face to face and things like that. So it's going to be exciting.
Cool. And I'm looking forward to karaoke. So
Oh,
at
Lord.
the after parties. So just be ready. But yeah, we'll be there. We'll be at booth 70955 in Caesars Forum. So whether you're a grad, whether you're just somebody interested in learning firearms, well, not learning firearms because you're in the industry already. I don't know what I'm saying. But if you're interested in learning more about SDI or just talking with us, having some chats, we also have some pretty cool swag as well. And that's going to be another thing we could have spent another half an hour on with swag. But hopefully we see you there. From Rick, Steve, Owen, Talon, I've been Christian, and that's been the Gun Rack. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.